Sonic is back with his team Knuckles, Tails, and the Donut Lord, directed again by Jeff Fowler and created by the same team who made Sonic 1 and 2. Sonic 3 starts with Shadow, a hedgehog who looks a lot like Sonic.
Excuse me? Why do you look like me?
I don't look like you. You look like me. Why do you look like me?
But darker, escapes an island prison that he's been incarcerated in for 50 years. Plagued by his past, he's angry and revenge-hungry and looking to destroy anything that gets in his way. Sonic and his team are called in to take care of the Shadow problem, but they come to find out that they are no match for Shadow, and they end up looking for help from a very out-of-shape Ivo Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey, hoping they can use him to find, defeat, and figure out where Shadow came from and what he wants. But the question is, can they really trust him? Sonic stars Ben Schwartz again as Sonic, Idris Elba as Knuckles, and Keanu Reeves as the John Wick of hedgehogs. We also get a double dose of Jim Carrey, which is great, back as Ivo Robotnik and Grandpa Robotnik in an outrageous off-the-wall performance that only Jim Carrey can pull off. And it's pretty amazing. I've never been much of a Sonic fan myself. I'm more of a Mario guy, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been told that before.
I've only really played the original game, and it's okay, I guess. I never made it past level 1 or 2, honestly. I'm sure more recent games are more fun, so not being much of a fan of the game, I was actually really surprised how much I enjoyed this movie. Yeah, it is over the top and ridiculous, but the movie doesn't take itself too seriously. It's obviously directed towards kids, but it plays up to the adults too. There are a lot of fun jokes and callbacks to the original Sonic game that I think adults will enjoy, and I really appreciate when the creators of a kids movie try to entertain the parents too. If you come just to watch Jim Carrey interact with an older version of himself, I think that's worth the price of the ticket. Carrey goes all in when he's cast in a role that he is absolutely hilarious in. It's rare that we get to see him in anything anymore, and if you're a fan of his, it's worth a watch. There is an amazing dance scene that you'll actually be glad that you came for. Keanu Reeves as Shadow is a fun addition. Reeves is such a likable person in real life that when he plays Shadow, he's dark, but dark with heart, if that makes sense. Shadow is kind of like Anakin Skywalker and his character who becomes Darth Vader for a reason, but there is possibly still good in him.
He's jealous. He's holding me back.
Shadow rides this really cool motorcycle that he really doesn't need because he's fast like Sonic. He's a fast hedgehog. But because Keanu voices him, it just felt kind of cool and necessary. As a fan of old school Keanu Reeves movies and his new movies, the movie held my attention because he was in it. He has an iconic voice, and you're just looking for those cool Keanu moments.
You gotta go down! It's gotta be that way!
The movie has some pretty fun moments like the Donut King, or Tom, played by James Marsden, gets a really funny sweater, Knuckles being afraid of ghosts, and again, so many hilarious Jim Carrey moments. There's even a Back to the Future reference that I love. Again, there is enough to keep the adults entertained while the kids are being entertained by all the action, and there's a lot of action. It's kind of like a kid's version of Mission Impossible in a way, with a hint of the Fast and the Furious for kids.
Sonic, you finally found your family.
Try to keep up.
The story is actually kind of complex, at least for a kids movie, and there are a few twists and turns. Some are obvious, but some not so obvious, and of course not as obvious to kids, which is kind of the point. There is a lot of exposition in this movie. There's a lot that needs to be explained. Robotnik's grandpa, Shadow's backstory. But the movie does all the exposition in a pretty fun way. One being in a Japanese like Chuck E. Cheese restaurant, which is pretty funny. Some of the exposition slows the movie down a little, but it doesn't have a problem ramping right back up to Sonic speed. And the third act is action-packed and pretty satisfying. The movie has a great message about how pain can either grow us or turn us into something terrible, and how destructive the desire for revenge is to someone internally and externally. It's about the choices we make in life and how we react to tragedy that may come our way. It's pretty deep for a video game kids movie. The special effects are great, obviously cartoony as you would expect from this kind of movie, but that's what it is. And the visual effects team did an amazing job. There's a great balance of good writing, but not making the writing too complex that kids won't understand the dialogue. One thing I always enjoy is when the cast come on before the movie and thank the audience for coming to the theater, especially with a big budget kids movie like this one, where they know everyone's going to come see anyway during the Christmas holiday. I think that with everything that has gone on in the movie and theater industry, it's important to let the moviegoers know how much the movie theater experience really means to the cast and crew who are making the movie for theater goers. Sonic 3 is a fun ride. If you're a Sonic fan, you'll really like this movie, and if you're not, I think you'll still appreciate it for what it is, with Jim Carrey's outrageous performance, some really funny jokes, and a movie that actually has a lot of heart. I'm giving Sonic 3 2.5 stars out of 5. Not really a movie I personally would want to watch again, but it was fun in the moment, and I think you'll enjoy taking your kids to this film. So have you seen Sonic 3? Do you plan to see it? What do you think is the best video game movie adaptation that you've ever seen? Has there been a really good one? I'll actually have to think about that one myself. Talk to me in the comments section, like and subscribe if you don't mind. Of course, thank you for watching, and remember, don't wait till it streams. Let's go to the theater and let's see it together.
It's impossible.
Is it?
It couldn't be.
Couldn't it?
I am...
Are you? In the saggy flesh.